So the next step is to explore or examine the characteristics of the categories or the themes that you have to see whether there's any kind of relationship that you can determine, right? So when you are exploring or examining the characteristics, you are looking for three main things, right? For each of the themes, you ask yourself, what is the meaning of this theme? What does it mean, right? And then you also ask yourself, what does it represent? And you ask yourself, what kinds of codes that are connected to the themes? At the end of the day, you try to come up with the properties of the themes that you have. Knowing the characteristics of the theme will help you to see the connections, right? So if you know that you know the meaning of a specific theme that you have, if you know what kinds of significant information are connected to that theme, and you know the kinds of codes that are connected, it helps you to see the shared similarities among the themes that you have so that you can start thinking about the connection between them and the type of connection. You don't have to go through this process if you think that the themes that you have will address your research questions that you have independently, right? So most of the studies, after they have developed themes, they just go ahead and then present the findings, present the themes, and then end the data analysis process, right? But there are a few research that you have to go further. My presentation here I will not give you very detailed information, but this one is to put it at the back of your mind that there is a possibility that one day you may do a research that requires you to look into the connection between the categories or the connection between the themes that you have. So this is, just to help you to get basic information about what you are looking for if you plan to determine the relationship between themes, right? So let's try to see. For these themes, although these can independently address a research question, but for demonstration, in case you want to find out the connection between these themes, first you can start with having high workload, right? So you ask yourself, what does this one mean by? What do I mean that by saying having high workload? Does it mean that you are saying that physicians have a lot of work to do, right, when they go to work, right? They have a lot to complete. They might have long hours, they might have to take care of multiple patients, right? And so that is the meaning that I can draw from this theme. What does it represent? So this means that you have to look into the significant information that you have already identified and see which of the significant information are connected to this theme. Based on that, you'll be able to know more about the theme. And you also have to think of what are the kinds of codes that are connected to this. So knowing all this, and at the end of the day, you learn more about the theme so that you can see whether there's some connection between the first theme or the second theme or the first theme and the third theme, right? As you are exploring, you'll be able to know some similarities among them and then start thinking about ways of determining the relationship between them. So that's the essence of going through this process, right? And as I said, this one is just a brief information to you. If you want more detailed process, you may have to maybe book an appointment with me for a consultation, then I'll be happy to explain to you in detail, and especially if you have a data that you are trying to come up with themes and determine the relationship between them. But I think that for basic understanding, find out the characteristics of the themes first before you look into the connection between them.